Scary Skeleton Reactor here, bringing to you yet another reaction video. Now this time I'm going to be reacting to 15 weird theme park rides by Top Fives. Yeah, I've always enjoyed going on rides, whether it was a local county fair from years ago or from Six Flags. But, yeah, those were good times. So, yeah, let's get started. This has been requested by Code Brown, and, yeah, without further ado, let's get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
Amusement parks around the world are in a continual battle with one another to offer the best, most exhilarating rides available. This has resulted in some truly unbelievable designs. Finding ways to push ride technology and human endurance to the limit is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and those that get it right can ensure a steady stream of visitors for years to come. It's time to fasten your safety harnesses, and remember to keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, as we bring you the 15 most unusual amusement park rides from around the world. Number 15. The Hot Tub Roller Coaster.
What?
It is quite possible that something got lost in translation when the plans were put together for a new amusement park in the city of Beppu, Japan. I was thinking it would be a water park instead, but the result was one of the most bizarre and unusual rides ever built, a hot tub roller coaster. In fact, the entire park is themed around a spa, where, because of the abundance of geothermal springs, it's become the largest hot spring resort in the world. Strangely, actors dressed as zombies walk around the site, trying to encourage guests to go on one of the various rides that usually results in a splashdown into a pool of warm, mineral-rich water. The star of the attraction is undoubtedly the coaster itself. Originally starting as a joke for an online video, there was such an interest the mayor of the city said it would be made a reality if the clip got 1 million views. Unsurprisingly,
so it was a joke?
Just a few days, thanks to donations by local businesses.
Oh, it started as a joke. Wow.
Riders sit in cars just like any other roller coaster, and the track itself is full of the expected twists and turns. The main difference, though, is that just before it sets off, every seat which is inside a watertight car has warm, soapy water poured into it, meaning that the riders are absolutely covered in it, and it splashes all over the guests on the pathway below as it passes over them. Number 14. Spin Dizzy.
I don't know if I would do that, though.
Amusement parks often base themselves on
What?
a theme that can be found throughout, from fantastical kingdoms to video games or movie franchises. Perhaps the most unexpected one of all is a series of venues in the UK and the US called Diggerland, where everything is dedicated to construction equipment.
Oh,
Originally
man.
designed as a place where youngsters can try their hands at driving huge trucks and moving earth, the company has begun to branch out with its own unique rides, and the one that keeps people coming back for more is called Spin Dizzy. Essentially, it's a converted Komatsu.
Look, I get the concept, but I still don't think children should try at it without adult supervision. Just from the looks of it, I'm sure there were adult supervisors there, but that's a little too early for me, at least. I don't know, but yeah, something I just don't really feel comfortable with.
Which has long since been retired from a construction site. Doing what virtually every builder has probably wanted to do since they first set sight on one of these incredible machines. The buckets had been fitted with seating and safety restraints. Once everyone's securely in place, the operator begins to show just what the excavator is capable of. Perched atop a small hill, it begins to spin round and round.
On a hill?
Tilting
Oh,
passengers
man.
until they feel like they're about to fall out. Sure, it may not be the most technologically advanced or thrilling ride of all, but it's definitely one of the more unusual rides you'll ever find.
I guess to each their own.
Wicker Man. Technology has advanced so much in the past century that roller coasters, which were once only ever made from wood, are now constructed with a wide range of different materials to allow even crazier inversions to be added. But for coaster purists, there's nothing quite like a traditional wooden design. But that doesn't mean designers aren't able to increase the fear factor for the modern age. If you're making anything out of wood, there's probably one thing you'll want to avoid getting close to at all costs: fire. But the Wicker Man coaster at the Alton Towers theme park in the UK was the first wooden ride in the world to actually feature flames directly above the track. At a cost of around $20 million to build, cars travel along the track at speeds of up to 43 miles an hour, and at one stage pass through a massive Wicker Man effigy with real flames that shoot up out of its shoulders. With huge amounts of smoke and heat effects along the rest of the ride, you're truly given the sense that it's all about to burst into flames, just like in the movie. We just hope the designers have taken suitable precautions to make sure the flames are controlled enough that they won't ever make contact with the track.
Yeah, if I were to do it, I wouldn't even include flames at all.
There's one thing everyone expects when they visit an amusement park, and that's that they'll be able to go on a ride that reaches insanely fast speeds as it twists and turns around the track. While most designers think that with the invention of launch coasters, we're verging on the limit of what the human body can handle, things were taken a step further with the development of the world's fastest roller coaster, the Formula Rossa in Abu Dhabi. It's part of Ferrari World, which was built next to the Formula One racetrack. The idea of the ride is to recreate the sensation you feel if you're driving one of the most powerful vehicles on the planet. By using a similar steam hydraulic launch system that you'll find on aircraft carriers, ride accelerates to a frightening top speed of almost 150 miles or 240 kilometers per hour in just 4.9 seconds. It's also the 6th longest steel coaster in the world, with a track length of about 1.4 miles. But at these speeds, the entire experience lasts just 92 seconds. As further evidence that this probably has gone beyond what's possible elsewhere, each rider has to wear a pair of protective goggles before the ride starts, because not only is there a risk of damaged eyesight because of the rapid change in air pressure, but just a single grain of sand would be enough to permanently blind you if it just so happened to blow into your face during acceleration.
That's true.
The Human Trebuchet,
yeah.
War Water Park, UK. Trebuchets became one of the most effective siege war weapons and allowed attacking forces to launch huge projectiles that were often alight at enemy defenses to cause wide-ranging damage. It's perhaps no surprise then that a group of adrenaline junkies realized that the design could quite easily be used to launch a human being into the air. That's how the Human Trebuchet at Middlemore Water Park in the UK was created. The premise was simple. The device would launch you more than 70 feet, or about 21 meters into the air, and in the direction of a perfectly placed net that would catch you as you fall back down. As you can imagine, though, there was very little room for error in the way that this was set up. It's probably why this ride is regarded as the most dangerous to have ever opened in a park anywhere in the world.
Obviously dangerous.
Tried to design their own version since. The signs of the danger were there in 1999 when a woman broke her pelvis, but with only around 50 or 60 people being brave enough or stupid enough to go on it each year, this incident was written off as an anomaly. Unfortunately, a few years later, a student died after completely missing the net altogether, and the trebuchet was quickly dismantled. There's been no sign of it ever since. Number 10. Mardi Gras Hangover. Six Flags is known for developing some truly groundbreaking rides, and in 2018 the company opened a record breaker at Six Flags Great America Amusement Park called the Mardi Gras Hangover. As the name would suggest, no rider is going to leave this experience without feeling a little wobbly, but the surprising thing is how simple the structure actually is. Advertised somewhat controversially as the largest loop coaster, it's a 100-foot or 30-meter tall circular track, which launches the vehicle at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. Usually, riders are arranged facing each other in each car as it spins both forwards and backwards, ensuring that if you're with friends, you'll be sure to see them contorting their faces into all sorts of shapes before it's over. Passengers complete 6 loops.
Well, for starters, I don't think I would ever go for Mardi Gras, and during the few times where I've been to Six Flags, I don't even think I've seen one. It's normally whether it was the Superman or Batman, but never Mardi Gras. I don't think I've seen it. I'm not sure if I would even want to go on it, because I definitely don't want to get sick if it's just going to be go in a loop.
Seconds, and there's even time in each rotation for a brief pause at the top, so you get a few seconds of being suspended upside down before coming back down to the ground. Perfect for a view out across the park if you can handle it. The question remains, though, does this actually qualify as a roller coaster? Or is it something else entirely? Number 9. Vertical Swing. Wonderland Kalkar, Germany.
Yeah, I think I might have been on that, but not in Germany though.
Scenery and surroundings for their
Yeah,
creations.
that concept was featured on some county fairs.
Made to build the Wonderland Kalkar in Germany. They already had a structure that they could use that would truly make this unlike any other park on Earth. An unused nuclear power plant. The plant.
Why a nuclear power plant?
It was never switched on because it was based on an older design, and there were serious safety concerns if it was ever to begin generating electricity. Apparently, costing the equivalent of building 80,000 new homes, there was no way that the developer was going to be able to recoup their costs. So sold it to a Dutch investor who wanted to use the land as an amusement park. Most of the attractions are built around the shell of the reactor, but there's one ride that's actually inside the original cooling tower, a vertical swing ride. Now this is the type of attraction that usually doesn't appeal to thrill seekers because it's seen as quite a tame experience. But there's something about being sat on one that rises 17 stories up above the concrete structure that seriously ups the ante.
17 stories?
It's one of the most popular rides in the entire park, and truly one that should be on everyone's bucket list. We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and
yeah, I usually am not afraid of heights, but 17 stories, that's pushing it.
And make sure there are queues of crowds lining up to get a chance to ride. New roller coasters are often themed after a famous property, or at least the first few years of operation. When Six Flags Fiesta Texas announced they were closing down the popular Power Surge water ride because of increasing safety concerns, they replaced it with a brand new type of coaster. Because of its speed and twisting turns, it only seemed fitting that it would become the Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. Opening in May of 2018, it features 3 inversions and reaches speeds of up to 52 miles an hour. It is, of course, painted in the recognizable color of Diana's lasso, but that's not the only thing that made it special. This was the first single-rail roller coaster to ever open to the public.
Single rail?
Being another 3, based on the same design elsewhere in the U.S., the Golden Coaster will always be the one that paved the way. Almost appearing to be a high-speed monorail, all of the ride apparatus is hidden underneath the solitary track, which gives a range of new opportunities in terms of the inversions that are possible in comparison to traditional 2-rail designs. Number 7. X-Scream, Las Vegas.
X-Scream?
Hotel in Las Vegas has taken the idea of amusement park rides to a whole new level by attaching them.
Well, I've heard of X-Flag from Six Flags, but not X-Scream.
The 3 that brave guests are able to go on, probably the most unusual and frightening, is the X-Scream. At a height of 866 feet, or about 264 meters above the ground, it's the 4th highest ride in the world. It uses this fact to extraordinary effect. Rather than featuring a car that goes around a circuit, it's simply made up of one 68-foot or 21-meter-long straight piece of track that hangs over the edge of the observation tower and pivots back and forth. Riders sit in the car, and once they're strapped in, the track tilts forwards as they travel at a surprisingly fast speed towards the very end of the rail, before sharply braking. And it's been specifically designed to move in a seemingly unpredictable way to give you the impression that it's not working properly. And
oh
just
no.
off the edge of the building.
And if it does not work?
It offers some of the greatest views out across the strip. While it may make for an exhilarating experience, everyone's more than happy when it returns back to safety and they're able to get their feet back on firm ground again. Number 6. The Sky Cycle.
That's mad.
Washuzan Highland, Japan. Normally,
Sky
when you go on a
Cycle.
ride that reaches a height that's the equivalent of 4 stories tall, you'd expect it to move automatically and to have safety harnesses that prevent you from falling out. But the Sky Cycle at Japan's Washuzan Highland Amusement Park is hardly your typical experience. There aren't any inversions or hair-raising twists, but it's a ride that provides excitement of a very different kind. Each cart that travels along the track is pedal-powered, so riders have complete control over the movement. And the only thing keeping you securely in place is a rather flimsy seatbelt.
Flimsy? Well, that's not good.
Ground level, but the Sky Cycle lifts you up to 590 feet above the ground and gives you astonishing views out across the park, the cities of Okayama, and the nearby Great Seto Bridge. For those wanting to use the opportunity to take a panoramic photograph or perhaps to have a picnic while they cycle around, the ride designers have conveniently placed baskets at the front of each cart, so you'll keep all of your belongings with you for the entire time. Number 5.
Odd.
Saw, the ride. Amusement park rides are meant to elicit all the emotions from intense fear to joy to exhilaration, and will often use the stories of famous movies to help toy with your mindset. It seemed an odd choice, though, when Thorpe Park in the UK announced an attraction that was based on the Saw series. But with it being one of the most successful horror franchises in recent times, it certainly made sense to their marketing department. Virtually the entire queue for the coaster passes through an enclosed dark section where guests have to negotiate their way past traps from the movies, or constantly being watched over by Jigsaw. Shotgun blasts occasionally echo out. Billy the Puppet makes an appearance on monitors to explain all the rules of the ride, and there are countless mutilated mannequin pieces all around. By the time they board the train, most guests are in an uncomfortable headspace, and things only get worse and more intense from there. When it opened in 2009, the coaster was the steepest in the world, with a drop angle of 100 degrees, and a track that seemingly takes you perilously close to whirring saws and a whole host of deadly-looking machines. While most people who venture onto the ride return unscathed, there have been complaints that the entire experience is too intense, with several heart attacks having been reported, one of which occurred before the person had even sat in the actual...
I wonder if Six Flags ever try to incorporate that into their Fright Fest season. I don't know if they would allow that. Or maybe Universal Studios for their Halloween Horror Nights. But, yeah, I could see why that's intense. Or maybe they wouldn't go for it.
Number 4. The Vanishing Coaster, Yokohama Cosmo World, Japan. A great technique that ride designers often use is the way that the cars sometimes travel in a complete...
Seems that it's the UK and Japan that have the odd theme park rides.
Pieces of track. When done properly, it adds an extra element of surprise for riders, and as a result, increases their excitement. At the Yokohama Cosmo World in Japan, however, things were done a little differently. And instead of adding a feature that would surprise the riders, they added something that would confuse and shock anyone who was watching the coaster travel along the tracks. Known as the Vanishing Coaster, the ride takes a vertical dive towards a pool, and instead of lifting up just at the last moment as you might expect, it enters a very narrow underwater tunnel and reemerges somewhere else entirely. It's a brilliant visual illusion, and one that regularly confuses passers-by, and it also provides a one-of-a-kind ride experience. After all, where else can you say that you've been on a roller coaster that has a substantial stretch underwater? Number 3.
That's
Underground
interesting.
Ferris Wheel. Ferris wheels are a common sight at amusement parks and fairgrounds across the world, and usually give guests one of the highest views possible out across the park. But have you ever heard of a Ferris wheel being completely underground? Well, that's exactly the situations with the ones at the Salina Turda amusement park in Turda, Romania, where the entire venue is 400 feet or 120 meters below the surface. That's because this is no ordinary park, and is one that's been built inside an abandoned salt mine. Excavation work first started there in the 17th century, and after all of the usable salt had been removed by 1932, it went on to become a cheese storage center and a bomb shelter before being converted into what it is today. Among the attractions are an amphitheater for performances, a bowling alley, a lake where you can take rowing boats out to explore, a mini golf course, and even a drone racetrack. But it's the Ferris wheel that's the standout attraction, letting you get surprisingly close to the cavern ceiling.
I would like to take a shot at it.
Florida is undoubtedly the amusement park capital of the world.
Really?
Major theme parks and countless smaller sites in the state. While it may be the best place to go if you want to experience some of the greatest rides on Earth, it's also the most competitive place to be a park operator. And every park has to invest heavily in ensuring they've got the next best attraction to draw in the crowds. SeaWorld Orlando has traditionally relied on the animals, as well as the rides, to bring people through the gates. But in recent years, the ethics of this has been brought into question, to such an extent that they've been installing a number of incredible attractions. In 2018, the biggest opening of the season was Infinity Falls, a water ride which boasted the tallest drop for a river raft ride anywhere in the world, reaching a maximum height of 30 feet, or 9.1 meters above the ground. The drop itself was 40 feet, or 12 meters, thanks to a dugout section. But the ride designers, knowing that they wanted to have a drop as high as this, faced a challenge. The most most boring part of a water slide, as we all know, is the ascent to the top. And if this was built in the traditional way, it would also be the longest lift. Their solution was ingenious. So to get the rafts to the top, they used a custom-designed elevator, something that could take guests to the part of the ride they wanted to be at in a matter of seconds instead of minutes. Number 1. The Death Simulator. Window
Whoa!
China. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be roasted alive in a cemetery? No? Well, I haven't either. But it seems like there was at least one ride designer.
Okay, that's where I draw the line.
For such an experience at the Window of the World theme park in Shenzhen, China. Parks around the world have used 4D technology to give guests unusual experiences, such as being shrunk to the size of an insect or to fly through the stars in a spaceship. But on the Death Simulator, you lie down in a coffin-shaped wooden box with one other person. The attendant pushes you into the incinerator. Then all you hear is silence. You're left in darkness and you start to realize just how confined you are in this small space. All of a sudden you hear a whirring sound.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this for anyone who is claustrophobic.
It's a toasty 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius inside. Of course, this is far from the sort of temperature needed to turn a human
Suffers
body
from
to
claustrophobia.
ash.
That is too
To
much.
trick the mind into believing something horrendous is happening. There have been reports that some people who have gone in have ended up screaming and banging on the walls so much that they've had to be let out early. There have been plenty of others who have said they've suffered nightmares of the ride for weeks after visiting. If you had the chance, would you dare to try it out yourself? Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like.
Alright, those were the 15 weird theme park rides. Some of them I actually would kind of want to go on. Others are, yeah, no. So, yeah. But to each their own, I suppose. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. You know the drill. Please like, please subscribe. If you guys have requests, comment down below. See you guys in my next reaction. Peace.